Throughout May, all the political parties were campaigning for the local and European elections being held at the end of the month. Although, as Channel 4 News made clear, not everyone was interested.
Do you know about this by-election?
No, I don't.
Well, the local MP, Patrick Mercer,
Yeah.
had to resign over a bit of scandal.
Yeah, that's right.
And so there's a new election now.
Right, okay.
Will you be voting in that?
No, I don't vote nothing.
You don't vote nothing?
Two men who were interested were Nick Clegg and Nigel Farage, who drummed up interest by going head-to-head in a pair of live debates about Europe.
If it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is.
Sounds too good to be true. You know, that reminds me of the time 100 years ago in 2010 when a younger, pluckier Clegg took part in debates with the Gruffalo and Iggle Piggle. Back then he was the wild card, the exciting outsider fighting the system, the voice of ordinary people, Barack Hussein Clegg, bright-eyed embodiment of hope.
Now, you're going to be told tonight by these two that the only choice you can make is between two old parties who've been running things for years. I'm here to persuade you that there is an alternative.
Now, just 4 years later, here he was, the company man, tainted goods, defending the closed shop against a new wildcard man of the people outsider, albeit the kind of outsider who thinks the country's got enough outsiders already. Part of Clegg's trouble is that as soon as you're part of the system, you're not a man of the people anymore, you're not relatable, and you don't even seem human. For instance, Robo Cameron, the Optimus Prime Minister, consistently exhibits alarmingly stiff gestures and arm movements like he needs oiling. He also has an odd habit of abruptly walking out of shot the moment he's had enough of talking to the media, or uploading information to the pleb cloud, as he probably thinks of it.
I think that is important.
Where's he going?
Those are the things we'll be discussing here today, and I'm hopeful of a positive outcome.
Come back here, don't just walk off with your hands in your pockets. Jesus Christ!
Right now, the key thing is getting everything done that we can in the next few hours to protect as many homes and communities as possible.
Once the army's gone... thank you, Prime Minister. That was David Cameron there.
It was late for a bus by the looks of it. But Labour's Ed Miliband has the biggest image problem. Throughout 2014, poor old Miliband, a man with the face of a rubber ear and the voice of an enchanted plimsoll, looked and sounded awkward in every setting he appeared in. It's like he's been badly photoshopped into our world, and the more he strains to look normal doing everyday things, the less normal he looks. He looks at odds trying to drink a pint in a brewery.
Great.
He can't eat a bacon sandwich without looking like a man who's been neck-nominated to eat a live bat. He can't even look viewers of insipid breakfast TV in the eye without coming across like a slightly frightened robot. He's the only man on earth who manages to visibly shift uncomfortably in a still photograph. Into this void have poured people who were once considered fringe figures and are now hailed as a fresh solution, chief amongst them being UKIP. The odd thing about UKIP is that unlike the other parties, every gaffe they commit seems to make them stronger, and throughout the year they guffed out gaffes like a gaff-guffing garrison. One of their sponsors claimed women shouldn't wear trousers.
Why should women dress to excite men? Because that's the only way the world is going to continue. If they don't, then men are going to stop them.
When Lenny Henry complained about a lack of diversity in British television, which, speaking as a black woman, I thought was a ridiculous claim, one UKIP candidate said he should emigrate to a black country.
He told me if black people come to this country and don't like mixing with white people, then why are they here?
Haircutted UKIPper and tough pub quiz answer Mike Reid caused a stink when he sang a calypso in a cod West Indian accent, inadvertently creating the most controversial record in which a white man pretends to be black since Blurred Lines.
Open the borders, let them all come in. Illegal immigrants in every town. Stand up and be counted, black and brown.
It's funny because it's racist. Given all this, little wonder whenever ubiquitous Nige wasn't on screen guffawing over a pint, he was saying sorry for something, anything, over and over again.
I regret the fact that I was sort of completely tired out, and I didn't use the formal words in response that I would like to have used. Somehow, somebody in UKIP has made a very major error. This is our fault. It's the party's fault. Hands up. This kind of behaviour is unacceptable, and it must never happen again.
UKIP leader Nigel Farage apologises in person to the Thai woman described as a ting-tong by one of his MEPs.
But, you know, mega apologies.
Yet despite all this, UKIP's popularity continued to grow, and come the elections they cleaned up.
The UK Independence Party celebrates a dramatic breakthrough in the European elections.
Even the pinko lefty BBC felt compelled to celebrate Nigel's birthday live on air like he's an emperor or something.
It is Nigel Farage's birthday today. He's 50 today, so happy birthday to Nigel, happy birthday to Nigel.
But who knows how long that'll last, since Farage, the alternative outsider, is already being challenged by another alternative outsider.
But this man is not a cartoon character. He ain't Del Boy, he ain't Arthur Daly, he is a pound shop Enoch Powell, and we gotta watch him.
Usually politics is really boring, but this year it got more interesting because it had Russell Brand in it. It was good because when politicians talk, they use all this boring language normal people don't use, that you can't understand. But he cut through all that by talking in Victorian.
And the phrase that these women have come up with, social housing, not social cleansing, is incredibly germane, incredibly apposite.
He's like a sort of cross between Jesus and Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He said how rich people like him were shit and we shouldn't listen to him, so I didn't know whether to listen to him or not, but he was fucking everywhere, so it was really hard not to.
Then he brought out a book called Revolution about how unfair everything is, and so you'd know he meant it. He pulled a serious face on the front. It was about how catapultism is naughty and how we could build a better world if we were nice to each other instead of spending all our time thinking about coins.
Energy companies are subsidised by our taxes while renewable energies are ignored. I know you can't support that system, Evan.
He'd talk about how the status quo keeps the working classes enslaved, which I found sort of boring compared to the stuff he used to do about putting his dinkle into granddaughters. What he's saying might actually be stupid, but it's hard to tell because he says it with clever words.
We don't want pedagogic figures coming in and didactically shouting at us.
So the only people who can actually tell if he's stupid are clever themselves, and they think everyone's stupid compared to them anyway. Basically, the only way to find out if he's clever or stupid will be to do everything he says and see if society totally collapses and hundreds of thousands of people die.